Although there are many leadership challenges, there are three that stand out the most that we discuss so often when we're training and mentoring new people in leadership in healthcare or long-term care, senior living. There are three that come up repeatedly. And those three are number one, stress and overwhelm. So whether it's the leader themselves feeling stressed and overwhelmed, or it's them trying to manage their staff that feels stressed and overwhelmed. And number two, lack of trust. So not being able to trust all of their teammates, not trusting their leaders, or worse yet, not trusting the organization as a whole. Number three is inner office conflict and drama, toxic behaviors. I wish these three didn't come up as much as they do, but they are three of the biggest challenges that we deal with daily with the different organizations that we work with. So this video, I'm going to help you with some strategies that we use in our leadership training to help you manage those three challenges. When it comes to stress and overwhelm, there are many solutions. What I can tell you for sure is that the solution is not found in you telling. The solution is found in you asking. So asking yourself if it's you that's feeling overwhelmed, or asking your staff members really powerful questions, thought-provoking questions. That's how you get to the solutions that you want to get to, because what helps some people stress and overwhelm is going to be different than that of others. I'm going to just run through like some examples of questions you can ask. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, I have a recent article on my company page, so on 7KCC, and it gives you a list of questions for all different scenarios. So please go check that out if you think that'll be helpful to you. So first off with stress, asking good questions. Let me give you a couple examples of some good questions. First one, what do you need from me right now? If you're a leader or manager and you've got a stressed out employee, you listening to them and asking some really good, compassionate, empathy-centered questions, like what do you need from me right now to help you, is so powerful. Let them tell you, don't guess. Don't try and just hand over a solution to them because it might not be the solution they need. Another good question, is there one task in particular or one part of your responsibilities that feels the most overwhelming to you right now? A question like that really helps people identify what it is that is feeling the most overwhelming right now. Another great question, are there any expectations or deadlines that don't feel realistic to you right now? What a powerful question. If you have that kind of relationship with your team where you can ask questions like that and you encourage them to be honest and open with you, and they know you're asking the questions because you care, you start to really notice what is causing stress and overwhelm in your organization. If you hear more than once that a certain deadline or task is unrealistic, say it's report taking, if across the board everybody assumes and tells you it takes 5 or 10 minutes to do a report, when in reality you keep hearing team members saying, oh my God, that report takes at least 35 minutes. When you hear something more than once, there's truth in there. So pay attention. When you ask these kind of questions, are there expectations or deadlines that don't feel realistic? Be open to those answers, because when we feel like we're up against the wall and things have to be done in a time frame that we just know isn't going to happen, that leads to overwhelm. So ask the question and listen for the answer, and then together you can work through that. Maybe it's just a time management issue. Maybe there's too many distractions. But once you ask one question, you will naturally know the next question to ask. And the more you drill down and dig, that's when you're going to come to the actual solution somebody needs. The second challenge, trust. We could spend days on this topic, and you can do whole workshops and trainings just on trust. Trust isn't something we demand. Trust is earned. And it's earned by us modeling the behavior we want to see in our people. So if we want them to trust us, we have to trust them. We need to trust that they're going to hold themselves accountable and be responsible for their own tasks and responsibilities. It's up to us to show them that we value and trust them as employees. And that trust is also behavior that we model. So if we screw up as a leader or a manager, we just need to own it quickly, apologize to whoever needs to be apologized to, Allow yourself to be vulnerable and just say, I screwed up. I'm human. When you do that, you model that behavior, you make it safe for them to also own their own mistakes down the road. And when people feel safe to own a mistake quickly, we avoid bigger mistakes down the road because there's no blaming or cover-ups or trying to hide what happened. So trust is something we earn by being trustworthy and by trusting others. Stick to your word. Don't keep secrets. I'm not saying that all members of the staff have to have every detail of what the company is doing, but I'll tell you, I've had this happen so many times in coaching or training where people will say, I don't know what's going on. There's been a lot of closed doors. There's been people coming in and out that I haven't seen before. They're hiring somebody new in this department. Am I going to lose my job? There's all of this feeling of anxiety and distrust because they're not in the loop. Keep your people in the loop. Maybe the person being hired in the department, there's a good explanation for that. Tell your people, listen, you're going to see a lot of like activity in the next week. We've got visitors coming down. We're thinking of adding a few people in the department so that it lessens your workload so our company can continue to flourish and grow. So we're working on lots of changes. So don't panic if you see closed doors or stuff going on. We're making some really positive changes, and those are going to be to support you. Everything is good. You're doing a great job. Talk to your people. Keep them in the loop. Don't let them make assumptions because assumptions lead to all kinds of talk and gossip and distraction, and then people lose their focus. So keep talking to people, keep them in the loop, and let them know that they're safe. Inner office conflict. Ugh, I don't like it. Sorry, it's my reaction as soon as I hear that. I don't like drama. I cannot stand that in today's world, this drama and conflict and bullying still happens in the workplace. I wish it didn't, but it's just like kids on the school ground. I want to think we've made a lot of progress in society, but I see it every day. The more people we have in our organizations, the more power and ego struggles there are, the more drama there will be. So I can tell you the best way to counteract that as a leader and a manager is having very clear expectations with your staff around this topic. Talk as a group about expectations of each other. What are we going to be okay with as a team? What are we not going to be okay with? How do we handle it if something we say isn't okay with us starts to happen? How do we handle gossip in the workplace? What's a response we can give if somebody starts gossiping about another team member? We really help with those things. I'll just use an example. So if somebody comes up and starts talking about another team member, you can kindly say, listen, I'm just not comfortable. I know you don't mean anything wrong. I'm not comfortable talking about Sally. She's not even here today. So I just want to keep doing my work, focus on what we got to focus on. And I know we've talked about this as a group that we want to not be talking bad about each other behind each other's back. Something to that effect. Another way to counteract conflict and drama in the workplace is to ensure that every single member of your team feels valued, feels important, that it isn't a competition, and that blaming other people is not acceptable. Accountability is celebrated, ownership is celebrated, autonomy is celebrated, making sure everybody knows how their particular roles and responsibility ties right back to the organization's vision and values. I'll use long-term care as an example. When I'm training leaders and managers, I'll say, go back to those resident bill of rights every time and let your team members know how their tasks, no matter how small those are, and those responsibilities, how those tie back to the residents' bill of rights. Talk about the vision, like what we're imagining for the future as an organization. If you can connect your team on the vision of the organization and the bigger purpose, there's less time for drama because their focus will be on the right things. As long as individually they know their skills are appreciated, their experience is appreciated, they are valued. So they're valued individually and celebrated individually. They are also valued and appreciated and recognized as a team and how they contribute as a team member and collaborate. So it is that balance between celebrating the individual and celebrating their contribution as a team member. When you do that, you develop more trust, you improve communication, and you reduce toxic behaviors and conflict. We're just starting this YouTube channel, so if you can do me a favor and like the video, subscribe to the channel, I will be focusing a lot of attention on bringing leadership training videos here on this channel. So I appreciate any support that you give us. You can comment on things that you would like to see in the future. And I will also, in the description of this video, add the LinkedIn link so that you can go check out that article with all of those sample questions you can use. And I'll also put a couple links to different resources that'll be helpful to you.